A Family Feud contestant who joked on national TV that getting married was a mistake, now on trial, accused of killing his estranged wife.
What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?
Honey, I love you, but said I do. Not my mistake. Not my mistake. I love my wife.
Authorities say in February of this year, Tim Bliefnick killed his wife, Becky.
This is Love Hurts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future content. Rebecca Bliefnick, known affectionately as Becky, was a 41-year-old nurse and loving mother to 3 young boys. She graduated valedictorian from Quincy Notre Dame High School and went on to Quincy University. She began her career in pharmaceuticals, but finished nursing school in time for the start of the coronavirus pandemic. By all accounts, Becky was selfless in her healthcare profession and her devout Catholic faith. In July of 2020, she received honors from the Daisy Foundation after assisting a woman whose husband was headed for emergency surgery with gangrene and sepsis. Becky had all of the major qualities that you would want in a nurse. She was loving, she was caring, she was attentive, she was great at her job. On September 18th of 2009, Becky married Timothy Bliefnick. By all accounts, the couple seemed to be on the right path. They had 3 beautiful children together and were creating a comfortable, cozy life in Quincy, Illinois. Everything seemed perfect. But by January of 2021, there was trouble in paradise, and Timothy Bliefnick filed for divorce. The divorce was anything but amicable. It was downright messy, child. It was the type of divorce that would make a person never want to get married. There were accusations being made about Timothy's father possibly being inappropriate around the children or to the children. There were restraining orders filed on both ends. It was just a mess, very contentious divorce. And as the months went on, Becky became increasingly concerned about her safety. Quincy, Illinois, February 23, 2003.
There are still very few details being made available as Quincy police continue to investigate a woman's death. Police say 41-year-old Rebecca Bliefnick was found by a family member Thursday. Police say she had been shot multiple times. QPD Deputy Chief of Operations Michael Tyler says they have not yet narrowed the investigation to one suspect, and investigators are still working the case.
I mean, we're working hard on it. We have 8 detectives and multiple agencies helping us out on this. Plus, we had a lot of patrol officers working on it. So we're hoping that we can develop some leads.
Tyler says officers are still canvassing the neighborhood and asking for video footage from those who might have systems installed. Anyone with information is urged to call Quincy Police at
March 13th, 2003.
At 8:24 this morning, Quincy Police Department detectives and members of the department's emergency response team arrested 39-year-old Timothy W. Bliefnick of Quincy for a no-bond warrant for 2 counts of first-degree murder and home invasion for the murder of Rebecca Bliefnick.
A Family Feud contestant who joked on national TV that getting married was a mistake, now on trial, accused of killing his estranged wife.
What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?
Honey, I love you, but said I do. Not my mistake. Not my mistake. I love my wife.
Authorities say in February of this year, Tim Bliefnick killed his wife, Becky.
His phone shows searches for the following: how to open my door with a crowbar, how to make a homemade pistol silencer.
On Tuesday, Bliefnick in court for opening arguments in his case.
The last minutes of Becky's life were spent in fear and pain and terror.
And this case is dripping with reasonable doubt.
Becky Bliefnick's father taking the stand Tuesday, telling jurors how he discovered her body.
I ran up the stairs, and since she supposedly was sick, I went to the bedroom to see if she was laying down. Didn't see anything in her bedroom, went into the attached bathroom, and that's when I found her body lying on the floor. She looked like she was dead.
The mother of 3 boys shot 14 times after someone used a crowbar to enter the home where she was living. The couple was in the midst of a messy divorce. Her sister telling jurors that Becky feared her husband.
This is a text that Becky sent to myself and my husband, Brett, regarding fear for her life.
If something ever happens to me, please make sure the #1 person of interest is Tim, as that is who would do something to me.
May 31st, 2003.
Now Bliefnick is behind bars, a jury convicting him Wednesday for killing his wife, Becky.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Timothy Bliefnick, guilty of first-degree murder.
The mother of 3 shot up close 14 times in her Illinois home. And this morning, Becky's sister sitting down with ABC News, telling us about her sister, a nurse, a loving mother, and someone who increasingly feared her husband. So when did your sister voice to you that she thought her husband was dangerous?
I received the text message that I testified to in court in September of 2021. That was the first time where she illuminated or she made clear that, something is dramatically wrong.
Can you outline what she had sent to you in that text message?
She said she wanted to put it in writing that if something ever happened to her, we should first think of Tim.
Shortly after, prosecutors in court say Becky began telling her close friends about his increasingly erratic behavior and what he might do if he lost custody of their children.
He screamed in my face. He shoved me in front of the kids. He's thrown things across the room where the kids and I were standing. He's punched a hole in the wall. If things really don't go his way, I feel he can be very unstable and unpredictable.
Becky filing multiple court orders of protection. Then in February, prosecutors say Bliefnick did the unthinkable, rode a bicycle to her home, climbed up to the 2nd floor, opened the window with a crowbar, and shot her multiple times using a homemade gun silencer.
We learned that he did practice runs of going to her house on that bike multiple days. We learned about his Google searches. We learned so many gruesome facts I would have never dreamed.
On August 8th, 2023, Bliefnick receives 3 life sentences.
Quincy man convicted of killing his estranged wife, shooting her 14 times, will spend the rest of his life in prison. WGEM's Dylan Smith was in the courtroom for today's sentencing. He has more tonight on the case that has left 3 boys without their mother and father. Dylan?
Well, Daniel, it's been just under 6 months since the time of the offense to today, where the family of Rebecca Bliefnick was back in the courtroom to learn the fate of the man who left 3 children at home to kill their mother. Now, tears were shed, but they say it's the justice they've been waiting for.
We are left with emptiness that cannot be filled.
That's the voice of Rebecca Bliefnick's mother, Bernadette Postal, as she sits just a few feet away from her son-in-law, a convicted killer who will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Your soul is black with hate. Your heart has only love for itself. You should never be allowed to be free again.
And he won't be. Bliefnick's attorney Casey Schnock asked Judge Robert Adrian for leniency to consider her client's behavior before the offense, that he had a clean criminal record.
Life without parole should be reserved for the worst of the worst. And Tim is not the worst of the worst.
Instead,
you broke into her house and you shot her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times.
He gave Bliefnick's estranged wife justice.
Becky was not the only helpless victim on February 23rd.
Yes, the night of the murder, Bliefnick left he and Rebecca's 3 sons at his home on Hampshire Street while he rode a bicycle to their mother's home to kill her. Now they're left without a mom or dad.
Did you think about 12-year-old Deacon as you broke through his window with a crowbar?
Right before Judge Adrian sentenced 40-year-old Bliefnick, he gave him the opportunity to address the court.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, Your Honor.
Then he learned his fate and was escorted out of the courtroom.
Knowing he will face a lifetime of isolation and emptiness behind bars is only a small solace as we try to make sense of this inconceivable world without Becky.
This case is just so sad, and my heart goes out to Becky Bliefnick's family. I mean, here's a woman who did everything right. She filed restraining orders. She put certain stipulations in her divorce paperwork, preventing Tim from coming to her house unless he was picking up or dropping off the kids. She even went so far as to reach out to family and friends, letting them know that she had concerns about her safety. And yet, and still, it was not enough. Absolutely sad. And then on top of that, we have Tim, who's gone on to Family Feud and actually made comments about how he should have never gotten married before the murder. This case is absolutely devastating. My heart goes out especially to their 3 children. If you are experiencing domestic abuse in your relationship, please get out. Use the quickest, safest way possible and do not turn back. Turning back can cost you your life. Make sure you stay safe, my loves. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and leave me a comment. Hit the notification bell for future content.